Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you all so much for being here to help us kick off our inaugural Stablecon conference. It's great to have you all. Thank you. I'm going to give you a couple remarks and then hand it over to our great opening keynote. While people trickle in, I wanted to spend some time thinking about the moment that we're in currently for stablecoins. We're now a quarter of the way into the 21st century, and while we have fascinating technological change in areas like self-driving cars or gene editing, the way that we pay each other has remained largely the same for decades. But with stablecoins, I believe that we're finally at the inflection point where all of that changes. An interesting data point about stablecoins in the market is that they currently account for 1.1% of global US money supply, meaning of the $21 trillion that are currently in global circulation, 240 billion of that is tokenized as stablecoins, a remarkable adoption rate for a product that 1 decade ago didn't even exist, and we're still only at the beginning. Monthly active addresses that hold or transact with stablecoins also continue to hit month-over-month highs. Looking at the data from April provided by Artemis, over 30 million wallets either held or transacted with stablecoins just in that month. If you're interested in diving into the data a little bit more, the Artemis team is actually going to be presenting on the second floor stage today at 2 p.m. They have some of the best research and reporting out on the stablecoin ecosystem, and so I highly recommend going to see their presentation. Stablecoin funding also continues to set record highs. I'm sure we're all aware that Circle recently registered to IPO, one of the largest stablecoin issuers, but also a number of companies that are in this room today have announced recent fundraisers just this week. CB Insights has put together some helpful data on the stablecoin ecosystem, as well as an upcoming report and more information on the funding environment, which they're going to be presenting at 11 a.m. on the second floor stage today. But perhaps most exciting is the adoption and enthusiasm that we're seeing from outside of the tech ecosystem. As everyone here is probably familiar, in the US, we have 2 pieces of legislation that are currently sitting in Congress that have to do with stablecoins and decentralized payments: the Genius Act in the Senate and the Stable Act in the House. What's perhaps most exciting about these is that there's genuine bipartisan support. There's representation to a significant degree from both parties behind both of these bills. And as anybody knows in this political climate, it's very rare to have legislation that has bipartisan support, but facilitating easier money management and payments is not a partisan issue. It's something that we can all agree is a key goal of our financial system. And speaking of the financial services ecosystem, it's also been exciting to see this year that there is real conviction and interest from financial institutions. Banks and card networks particularly have spent time in the last year exploring and launching stablecoin-based products. I know a lot of us in this room who come from tech like to think of ourselves as challengers to financial services and position ourselves against financial institutions. But really, for stablecoins to hit scaled adoption globally, there are 3 legs to the stool. And it depends on fintechs, it depends on crypto companies, and it depends on banks all working together to provide a better ecosystem. And when I say a better ecosystem, it also means making sure that stablecoins are safe, that they're reliable for end users, that when we think about mom and pops or individual consumers using stablecoins for savings or for payments, that we're building a safe and reliable institution that functions the way that we expect it to, the way that we've come to expect from financial services normally. While 2025 has been an exciting year for our ecosystem, we're thinking about 2026 and beyond. We're thinking about where things go from here. And I fully believe that if this is the year that people outside of tech are gaining conviction in stablecoins, next year will be the year that we really make that transition from what just 1 year ago felt impossible to what feels inevitable. And as the ecosystem grows, we're planning to grow this conference with it. So I'm excited to announce that for next year, we'll be holding this conference at the National Harbor Resort and Convention Center in Washington, D.C. for 3,000 people. We booked out a great meeting space from September 9th to 11th. 2026, and we'll be sharing more information with this group shortly. And as a big thank you for being part of our founding members of the conference, we're offering a ticket discount to everybody who's sitting here in this room today for next year. You'll tell by our choice of location in Washington, D.C., that we really view stablecoins as one of the few tech products that are built for a popular audience and require buy-in from more than just the tech ecosystem. And so we're excited to welcome not just builders and innovators, but also policymakers and legislators at the conference. The conference will feature 2.5 days of programming with 2 times the speakers next year. We initially started this conference with just 2 stages, but now we have 4 because of the overwhelming number of companies that are building in this space. And so we want to make sure that we can really harness all the energy behind the stablecoin ecosystem in one place for 1 week. We're also going to be hosting a buyer and customer matching program for companies to meet with their target customers, one-to-one curated networking invitations, and finally, we'll be hosting a 40,000 square foot exhibition space for companies to put up booths, share demos, and meet each other on the conference floor. If you're interested in working with us next year, please find our Director of Sales, Mitchell Hirschhorn, who's going to be roaming the floor today, or reach out to us at partner@stablecon.com. I'm biased, but I have very firm conviction that in the not too distant future, every company will be a stablecoin company. And what I mean by that is that if you are a company and you touch money in any form, if you handle payments or savings on behalf of your customers, in some sense, you will also touch stablecoins as more and more of that $21 trillion money supply becomes tokenized. But we're still just at 1%. This is the most exciting time that we could possibly be building in this space, and I'm excited to share it with all of you. And on a last note, we would not be here today if it were not for our great partners. So I do want to say a quick thank you to our partners, many of whom are in the room, to our title sponsor, Fireblocks, to our sponsors Mesh, Zero Hash, MasterCard, Ripple, Bridge, Turnkey, Rain, Defense, M0, Limited, the Global Dollar Network, BVNK, Aptos, Kaliza, and the Stablecoin Standard Industry Association. You'll see many of their signs around the halls today, and I hope you get a chance to talk with people at these companies who are driving forward the ecosystem. I've also been asked to make a few housekeeping notes here. So for anybody trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, the network is Stablecon. The password is Future of Payments with a capital F-O-N-P. For anybody trying to network today, we have an app. You look up Brella, B-R-E-L-L-A, in the App Store, and you can download it and use the invitation in your email to join with your own unique code and connect with anybody else who's in the conference today. And lastly, we have some great programming across the stages. This is the MetPav main stage. The Altman main stage is just through the entrance hall and through the door there. We also have a second floor stage, which will host things like a documentary screening for the first ever feature film documentary focused on stablecoins. And a fourth floor stage, which from 4 to 6 p.m. is going to host a startup competition where 100 startups submitted their ideas. 7 will get to pitch in front of a live panel of judges who vote on the spot. Lastly, I'm excited to introduce our keynote speaker who's opening up the conference this morning. Michael Sholov is the CEO of Fireblocks. If you're not familiar, Fireblocks works with over 300 stablecoin issuers and providers globally to help them provide best-in-class products. Last year alone, they facilitated over $1.6 trillion of stablecoin transactions and are currently on pace to facilitate over $2 trillion this year. Please help me in welcoming Michael Sholov. Thank you.